It's Wolf, and it's finally another First 15. I know it's been taking me forever to get these done for all the games that have been sent to me, but like I said in a couple other videos, I was at college and just the semester was insane. I didn't think it was going to be as crazy as it was, but it sure was, but I went into all that stuff in the unboxing video that I did, kind of, so there's info about that in that video, so if you want to hear about that, you can watch that one. But anyway, this is Fight Crab. This game got sent to me quite a while ago, actually. This was sent to me while I was still at college, and in general, I didn't really have time to make any First 15s while I was at college, but especially for this one because this is a Nintendo Switch game and I didn't have my Switch with me at college. But one of the first things I did when I got home, alongside doing all those unboxings, was installing this game. So I've played a little bit of it. Like I said, this got sent to me a while ago, so like multiple months ago. So sorry to the developers and publisher and everybody that I have taken so long to get around to making this video, but it's finally here. But also, just one more quick note, I know in First 15s I normally did the commentary like alongside playing the game, but then I started doing the ones where I recorded the commentary separately from the gameplay and then like talked about the game and then just had the gameplay without any commentary after I finished what I was saying. And I started doing that with PC games because the way to record my PC setup doesn't really allow easily for live commentary of PC games sometimes. Long story, but I think I might also start doing that for all First 15s, just because like recording the audio separately from the gameplay and not doing it at the same time really just makes stuff a lot more, I guess, like professional looking. It just seems to turn out higher quality that way. That's not to say there isn't going to be videos with like live commentary, but I think for these I'm probably going to start doing recorded afterwards, like introductions to the gameplay. Anyway, so Fight Crab. This game is about crabs that fight. It's a pretty simple concept, and it's one of those games that I saw a little bit kind of as like a meme on YouTube, I think a while ago too. It was a while ago that I saw that stuff, and I was kind of interested in it because I was like, it looks silly, but it actually looks like quite a bit of fun. And I mean, who doesn't like a silly game? So it's a pretty straightforward concept. I played through the story mode a little bit in this gameplay, and there is actually story to it. It's a pretty like simple story of you just want to be like the best crab fighter around. The gameplay mainly works with, you just kind of have to damage the other crabs until you can flip them on their back. It kind of reminds me a whole mixture of other styles of games. Like there's like a percentage meter, so you don't actually do damage to the other crabs, kind of like you do, and then they have like this percentage that rises up, and then once it hits like about 100, it's easier to flip them over. So it's kind of like Super Smash Bros in that way, actually, where like the more you hit other players, they're not actually directly taking damage, they're more so taking like harder hits, I guess. I don't really know exactly what it is with Smash Bros, but it's kind of a similar thing where you kind of chip away at the other person's vitality until you can flip them over. So you can obviously, you're playing as a crab or a lobster or a variety of other sea critters. I think it's mainly crabs and varieties of crabs, and I know a lobster. I don't know if there's other stuff though. So claws are the weapon of choice, kind of. I mean, they're the default weapon, not exactly the weapon of choice, but there are other weapons because these crabs are very smart. Also, you know, come to think of it, I don't know how big these crabs are supposed to be, because in some levels it looks like they're like normal sized crabs, but then in other levels you're like in a city. So is the city just really small, or are the crabs like giant crabs? Anyway, but yeah, they have crab sized weapons. So there are like swords and stuff that the crabs can use. In this gameplay, I don't think it really comes in until later on when you start to see weapon usage, because the first couple levels don't really have that. But like towards the end of the video, I got into some fights with some other crabs that they had weapons, and then subsequently after I defeated them, I could pick up their weapons and use them against the other crabs that came after them. So yeah, it's really goofy, but it's one of those things that I think it's like you can really applaud the developers and publishers, whoever like made the advertisements for the game, because they did such a good job of showing exactly what the game is in their advertisements. And I mean, like in the ads for this game, I just saw crabs like fighting each other, and that is exactly what the game is. So I was not disappointed. I don't really have any complaints about this game because, again, like in the advertising for it, you can kind of tell that it's not going to be the most story-focused game, so a lack of story isn't really a big deal. There is multiplayer, I believe, but I don't have a Nintendo Switch Online membership, at least not at the moment, so I wasn't able to play that. And I'm also not sure if there's like public matches or if it's just against friends or what exactly. And I kind of think that even if there are public matches, there might not be a ton of people playing this game, but even single player against the computer is a lot of fun also, so that's still pretty cool. I think really the only thing to complain about with this game is just that the controls feel like really awkward, because playing as a crab, there's a lot to control. In the beginning of the gameplay, which probably is already passed by this point of the commentary, but you'll see like the tutorial of how to control the crab, and I don't think that it's really kind of like, I don't think you understand how confusing it can be until you actually play it, because you control your crab's main claws with the right and left analog stick if you're using like a pro controller style controller, which makes sense. But then it's like, wait, how do I move my crab's like legs to move around? And you use the D-pad to do that, which once you get used to it, it works pretty well, but it just can be really confusing at times, because you kind of like, you'll press the button and then like forgot that you're still moving in a certain direction. And since it's like auto movement, it just feels like different than how you control stuff in other games. And then you use, I can't remember exactly what the buttons are, but like on a PlayStation, it would be R2 and L2. I can't remember what buttons those are exactly. I think it's like ZL and ZR. The way that the Switch controller is set up, so many letters. But the bottom bumpers on the bottom triggers, not bumpers, the bottom triggers on the controller are used to punch, and then the top ones are used to like snip your claws, which it's actually kind of surprising how much strategy you can do with like using snips as compared to like punches, because the snipping I think can like break your opponent's defense, and then if you hold them you can defend. And then also there's weapons, which most of the weapons are just kind of like you hit the punch button and it just kind of automatically does, like a sword. I mean, you hit the punch button and your crab swings the sword, which makes sense. But there are actually guns also in this game that the crabs can use, and those, whenever you hit the punch button, they shoot, and they are very hard to aim. At one point towards the end of the gameplay, my crab got his hands on a revolver, and because there's no reticle or anything, and you're just kind of like freely controlling your crab's arm, so you can kind of aim, but it's not the most like accurate aiming. But I think that's like part of the point. So anyway, overall, Fight Crab, it's pretty cool, honestly. Like, I like it quite a bit, and I am very happy that they sent me a code for it, because this was a game that I was actually thinking about buying on my own, but I just saw that it was on Keymailer, so I requested a key, and they actually sent me one. It's a game that I would recommend. It's another one of those things where like, if you've seen advertisements for it and you think like, hey, this is a game that I would maybe like, then you probably will like it, because it's pretty much exactly what you would think it is from the advertisements. So it's one of those games that if you like the advertisements, I heavily recommend it. But if it doesn't look like something you would like from the advertisements for it, you might not like it. But anyway, I think it's a lot of fun. It's silly, it's straightforward, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a unique concept for a game also. Although I think there might be another game that has like boats or something that reminds me of this. Anyway, yeah, so here's the rest of the gameplay. I think there's between 5 and 10 minutes left. I'm not exactly sure, but here it is. I hope you guys enjoy it.
You win. Ready. Go. You win. Ready. Go. You win. Ready. Go. You lose. Ready. Go. You win. Ready. Go. You win.